Nestled along the Hudson River lies a secluded glen, a place so quiet and drowsy it's known as Sleepy Hollow. A strange spell seems to hang over this valley, a place of haunting tales and local superstitions. The most famous of these is the legend of a ghostly figure, a soldier from the Revolutionary War who lost his head to a cannonball and now rides forth each night in search of it. They call him the Headless Horseman. Into this eerie and bewitched village arrives a most peculiar man, Ichabod Crane, a tall, exceedingly lank schoolmaster from Connecticut, with feet like shovels and a nose like a weathercock. He is as superstitious as the oldest residents of the Hollow, his head filled with tales of witches and ghosts from the books he devours. But Ichabod has more than just ghosts on his mind. He has his eyes on the prize of Sleepy Hollow, the lovely Katrina Van Tassel, the only daughter of a wealthy Dutch farmer. Winning her hand would mean securing a life of luxury, a feast for his ever-hungry appetite. However, Ichabod is not the only suitor vying for Katrina's affection. He faces a formidable rival in Abraham Van Brunt, known throughout the county as Brom Bones. Brom is the town hero, boisterous, handsome, and full of mischief and good humor. He's a skilled horseman, the leader of a gang of local ruffians, and he has long considered Katrina his own. When the lanky, awkward schoolmaster begins to make his advances, Brom is not pleased. Ichabod, with his supposed intellect and clumsy attempts at refined courtship, tries to woo Katrina with songs and stories. He pictures himself the lord of the vast Van Tassel estate, imagining the bountiful feasts and easy living. Brom Bones, on the other hand, decides to wage a different kind of war. Knowing Ichabod's superstitious nature, Brom and his gang begin a campaign of playful torment. They smoke out his singing school by stopping up the chimney, they break into the schoolhouse at night, and turn everything topsy-turvy, and they fill his head with even more terrifying local ghost stories. Ichabod, ever the believer, becomes increasingly jittery, seeing phantoms and goblins in every shadow. The rivalry between the scholar and the rogue becomes the talk of the town, a constant source of amusement for the locals. The tension between them is set to come to a head one crisp autumn evening. An invitation arrives for a grand harvest party at the Van Tassel estate. This, Ichabod believes, will be his moment. He borrows a broken-down plough horse named Gunpowder, a creature as gaunt and stubborn as its rider, and spruces himself up in his best, albeit ill-fitting suit. At the party, the Van Tassel barn is a scene of feasting and merriment. The tables groan under the weight of pies, cakes, and roasted meats. Ichabod, in his element, eats with the appetite of a man who has unseen food in a week and dances with an awkward energy that is both comical and strangely captivating. He feels confident, believing he is winning Katrina over. But as the night wears on, the atmosphere shifts. The guests gather around the fire to share ghost stories. The tales grow more and more frightening, filled with haunted bridges and wailing spirits. The main topic, of course, is the Headless Horseman. Brom Bones, with a twinkle in his eye, tells a particularly vivid story. of his own encounter with the horseman, boasting that he outraced the spectre and would have beaten him if the ghost had vanished in a flash of fire. The stories deeply unsettle Ichabod, filling his imagination with terrifying images. As the party winds down, Ichabod pulls Katrina aside, ready to make his final move. We don't know what was said, but he emerges moments later with a crestfallen, desolate look. He has been rejected. A dejected Ichabod Crane mounts his weary horse, Gunpowder, and begins the long, lonely ride home. The moon is low, casting long, spooky shadows across the path. The woods, which seemed so pleasant in the daylight, are now dark and menacing. Every rustle of leaves, every hoot of an owl sends a shiver down his spine. The ghost stories from the party replay in his mind, especially the tales of the Headless Horseman who haunts this very road. As he approaches the infamous bridge near the old churchyard, the very spot where the horseman is said to vanish, his heart pounds in his chest. Suddenly, he hears it. The heavy thud of hoofbeats behind him. He glances over his shoulder and sees a towering dark figure on a powerful black steed, closing in on him fast. It's him, the Headless Horseman, and cradled in his arm is not a head, but a fiery, glowing pumpkin. Panic seizes Ichabod. He kicks and whips poor Gunpowder, urging the old horse into a frantic, desperate gallop. The chase is on. The horseman thunders behind him, silent and relentless. Trees whip past in a blur. Ichabod remembers Brom's story: if he can just make it across the bridge, he'll be safe. The bridge is just ahead. With a final burst of speed, Gunpowder lurches forward, clearing the bridge. Ichabod dares to look back, thinking he has escaped. But the spectre rises in his stirrups and hurls his fiery pumpkin head directly at him. There's a sickening crash, and Ichabod tumbles from his horse into the dust. Then darkness. The next morning, Sleepy Hollow awakens to a mystery. Ichabod Crane has vanished. His borrowed horse, Gunpowder, is found grazing peacefully near his master's gate, but the schoolmaster is nowhere to be seen. A search party is formed. They follow his tracks to the bridge, where they find the saddle trampled in the dirt, and nearby, shattered into pieces, lies a mysterious pumpkin. But of Ichabod Crane, there is no trace. The townspeople are left to speculate. The old Dutch wives maintain that he was carried off by the Headless Horseman, another victim of the haunted hollow. His story becomes another legend to be told on winter nights. Others, however, have a different theory. They notice that Brombones, who shortly after married the beautiful Katrina always seems to burst into a hearty laugh whenever the story of Ichabod and the pumpkin is mentioned. He seems to know more than he lets on. Was it truly a ghostly encounter that fateful night, or was it the ultimate prank, a clever trick by a rival in love to scare the superstitious schoolmaster out of town for good? The mystery of Ichabod Crane's disappearance was never solved. It remains one of the most enduring legends of Sleepy Hollow, a chilling tale that leaves us to wonder what really happened in the woods that night. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more tales from the shadows.